Und heute ich werde continue on the Modern House Tower Part 3, Part 3. Part 3. Ich werde Aufgabe bei Modern House Tower Part 3. Part 3. Part 3. Let's get started. Let's get started. Heute. Counter. Nein. Das ist gut. Das ist gut. Das ist besser. Das ist besser. Für den Pantry. You know, we're trying to promote... We as vegans are trying to promote the vegan diet. There are some people out there who are trying to force the carnivore diet on them. Like, raw carnivore diet. Believing that cholesterol is much healthier for you than you think. It's one of the worst parts of meat consumption. The most unhealthy part of the meat you would eat is the cholesterol. The cholesterol is what makes meat very unhealthy. The truth about meat is it's really not that good for you to begin with. Even when we started eating meat several million years back, like about 2.5 million years ago, when there was when it was the only thing we could eat in the savannah as a result of climate change that back then we had no control over. Eating meat was, back then, meat was one of the only things we could eat. Because it was the only thing available that was energy dense. And ultimately, we realized that if we kept eating meat, like, thanks to a bunch of researchers, that heart problems would go on the rise. If we kept eating meat. So ultimately, vegetarianism started to rise. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that vegetarianism started to go on the rise. There are those crazy assholes on YouTube. Yes, I'm talking about you, Sparage. Because you're one of those crazies that believes that eating raw meat is good for you. Meat, the truth is, meat's not that good for you to begin with. Let me give you proof about why meat is not good for you. Meat's not that good for you to begin with. How is it bad for you? One thing that adherence to the carnivore diet does not understand adherents to the carnivore diet do not understand that they need to understand right now is that the carnivore diet has been linked to heart disease. Adherence to the carnivore diet Usually, they end up dying younger. That's mainly because they consume too much cholesterol. It's usually because they consume too much cholesterol. It's usually because they consume a crap ton of cholesterol in their diet. It's mainly because they consume too much cholesterol. They consume too much crap in their diet. What I call cholesterol crap because that dietary cholesterol has been linked to all sorts of health problems. Like heart disease. Excuse me. Wonder what has a greater impact on your cholesterol? What has the greatest impact on your LDL cholesterol scores? The consumption of animal products will have oftentimes it does have the greatest impact on your cholesterol scores. What if I could build a half wall? What if Nicht hoch. Ist das gut? Ja, das ist gut. Ja, das ist gut. Ja, das ist gut. Das gut. Das ist gut. Das ist gut. Recht hier. Recht hier. Nein. Tabletop. Tischtopf. Tischentopf. 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 Für alle schwarz. The reason why oftentimes the New Year's resolution to lose weight ends up failing is because losing weight in the winter is not a good idea. That's the truth. That's kind of the crazy truth out there. für Side Table. Für ein Side Table. Was ist ein gut Akzenttisch? Das ist gut. Das ist gut. Dining Hall. I'd like for it to look ultra modern. Das ist gut. Sie hätten einen Stühler. Es wäre. Das ist gut. Und gut, wird hier. Das ist gut. Go to the next floor. The next floor. Excuse me. If I had a lighter, I'd probably light that one on fire. I'd do some fart lighting with that. Get a light. That's das ist gut recht hier. What's wrong? My critique I have against the only critique I have against universal healthcare is basically like it's drug addicts get the healthcare just so they could neglect and keep doing the same drugs, trying to stay alive. You know, that's kind of dangerous. That's why we need a my critique on why there has to be a waiting list for treatment is we have to make sure you can physiologically handle it, because we'll have different... Our bodies react to drugs differently. Our bodies react to drugs differently from one another. Das ist benutzen ein Sonderraum. Einen Sonderraum. 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 Sonnenraum. Das ist gut, recht hier. My critique on why there should be a waiting list for all medical treatments is we have to make sure the patient is healthy enough to be able to go through the treatment. out there's a waiting list for organ transplants. Das ist besser. Das ist besser. My critique on why there should be a waiting list for medical treatment is because if everyone was free to do so, some people could die very quickly. Because that, just like how we regulate certain things to keep people safe, waiting lists should be regulated. A waiting list should be imposed by the state just to keep people safe. And if they get accepted into that, their chances of dying are automatically reduced. Excuse me. Nine. How does everything have a cost? There's also an energetic cost, too. There are also people who end up signing a do not an order that says do not resuscitate. There are people out there who sign an order that says that is basically a DNR order. Basically like a DNR order that sometimes they would sign, because one of those factors, because surgery on an elderly person is kind of dangerous. Because you have a greater chance of dying on the operating table if they tried to operate on you for a heart transplant in the event of heart failure. In the event of heart failure. Yeah, you have a greater chance of dying on the operating table. If you have heart failure, then you are dying if you continue to suffer with time. Especially if you get close to the end stage of heart failure. Yes, things get pretty... which is probably why my great-grandmother that died back in 2015 couldn't go for heart transplant. This is the same reason we need a waiting list for any medical prescriptions. to make sure the patient is healthy enough before we can operate on them. Like, physiologically healthy. Because we can't... Because operating on someone who is dying, like nearing the end of their life, is not a good idea. Like, I was talking about, like, those in the end stage of heart disease. Like, in the event of trying to go for heart transplant. It's only good on paper. But the reality is, if you try to give someone a heart transplant, even though they have end-stage heart failure, there's a good chance they're going to die on the operating table. I'm not trying to be discriminatory against the elderly. But there are some facts you just have to accept when you get very old, become very old. One of those facts is that you wouldn't be able to go for a heart transplant, even if you wanted to. Sugrosa. Proof that freedom is not free is that some people end up dying for our freedom. A necrolog is a log that keeps track of all the deaths that happen. That's what a necrolog is. That's the point of a necrolog. I'm focusing on the bedrooms now. This has to look modern by any means necessary. Das? Excuse me. Entschuldigung. Spielentisch. Spielentisch. vielen Tisch. Das ist gut und gut. Sonnenraum. No process will ever be 100% efficient. That's because the laws of thermodynamics does not allow for that. Godas. Godas. Why some people claim that communism would go against human nature, some of those people believe that slavery is human nature. The rug would surround the bed. This is it für Part 3 von ein Modern House Tower. Stay tuned für Part 4. Danke für watching. Subscribe to my YouTube Kanal. Follow mich Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Und tschüss.